Welcome to Career Uprising. I'm your host, Lorraine Rise, a career and executive coach dedicated to helping clients who are 40 plus to break free from feeling stuck and transform into the unstoppable force you're destined to become. I'm a former recruiter and two-time career changer, and I know what it takes to get hired. If you're in a job search, stuck in a toxic job, or simply hungry for what's next in your career, this show will provide you with a unique blend of practical strategies and big picture insights to guide you every step of the way. Let's start the uprising. Hey there, everybody. How are you guys doing? Happy New Year again. It's Lorraine Rise, career executive coach, mom, wife. I'm so many things. How are you? And I'm happy. I'm happy to be here. Welcome to 2025. I cannot believe we are halfway through this decade already. And so I'm recording in December, but I think I just realized just the second that this is going to be coming out on Inauguration Day. So I'm going to just say a little prayer, set an intention that when the show comes out, we have a peaceful Inauguration Day. Man, we had a volatile election, as you guys all know, and we're not going to get into the weeds of that, of course, but we are going to be talking about the job market. Today's show is the 2025 job market, what's really changing after the election. So I think it's really synchronistic that this is coming out on Inauguration Day. I did not do that on purpose. I literally just realized that. So I guess we get what we need when we need it, right? So prayers for our nation that we're all moving forward safely and positively here. It's, no matter what side you're on, doesn't even matter. We just want good things for everybody. So let's move forward. Let's talk about not what's behind us, but what's ahead. This is the season for career changing and job searching, getting your resume updated, setting goals or New Year's resolutions, right? And this is what I call kind of the busy season. For me, this is when things get really heated up, in the job market, typically Q1 and Q2, which is exciting. It really is. But, there's been so much uncertainty. I feel like that's been the word over the last year or so, right? An election year always brings so much uncertainty. And like I said, I'm not here to take a stand today, of course, on the results of the election one way or another. You're not going to hear me do that. But we do have, no matter what side you're on, we have clarity, right? We're going forward here. So thinking about that, let's look today at what might be happening with the job market and just other workplace trends, right? So what I did was I kind of pulled together a combination of what I think might happen, also did a little bit of research into what people are predicting might happen. And this is, of course, all theoretical. There's anyone who says they know exactly what's going to happen is lying or full of himself. We don't have total certainty. But I think we have a path forward here, right? And I'm optimistic about things. I definitely am. Let's do that. Let's dive into starting with kind of economic growth, employment, that kind of thing. We'll talk for a minute about where that might be going. And then I want to talk about AI and some other things and finish out the show today with actions for you. What does this all mean for you as someone who might be looking for work? And what are some things that you can be doing to be proactive and have an amazing 2025 with prosperity and abundance and job security? All right? Because those things are all within our control and they're our responsibility. All right? So overall, from what I can tell, from what I'm seeing and from what I'm reading, the economy really is expected to grow. I don't think it's going to be super, super rapid or anything like that. But I think slowly we are going to see things economically get a little better in Q1. And then I think it's supposed to be even better in Q2. So it might take a couple of months here, but I do think that we are seeing job growth overall. And I think that the 2025 is going to be better than 2024 was. Like I said, election years are not usually kind to job searches. And it was a hellish job search in 2024 for so many people. So if you struggled last year, you are not alone. You're not crazy. It's not just you. It was hard for a lot of people. Things were really not great economically. So I think hiring trends are looking good. Like I said, Q2 probably even better. And then I think Q3 is supposed to be even more robust with the job market. And then we'll start to see hiring, a lot of innovation, transformation, that kind of thing. I think it's good overall, you guys. I hope that it stays that way, but that's how it's looking, I think. Economics has never been, deeply my area of expertise, but I try my best to stay up to date much as I can. And one of the places I want to share this with you. One of the places that I went to kind of research for this show, and I go a lot, is Perplexity. So there's a lot of AI tools out there. ChatGPT is cool. I've been getting into Perplexity. It's really, really good for doing research. And then there's a lot of implications for that in a job search. In fact, that's one of the areas I've been coaching clients on, is how to use AI in their job search. How to use chat, how to use Claude is another great one. Perplexity, because they each have their own strengths. They're good for different things. So if you're curious or not using AI, that is something that we can coach you on. I'm incorporating that into the curriculum a lot more at Career Uprising. But that's what I use. I want to share that with you. You should play around with it. You can get a free account. Great place to do a deep dive into a certain subject, researching companies to add to your target list if you're in a job search, researching a new career path, a new industry, lots and lots of places to go. I like that it gives you follow-up questions. After you pop a question or a prompt in there, it'll give you really thoughtful follow-up questions to help you dig a little bit deeper. But anyway, I also want to say, while we're on the topic of AI, I mean, we cannot have a conversation about trends and hiring in 2025 without talking about AI. It's such a buzz topic right now. It's like it's almost like there's like no other topic out there. But it is a huge thing that's really kind of disrupting the world right now, in some good and in some scary ways, a little bit of both, right? But what I want to tell you is this: if you don't know how AI is disrupting your particular line of work, then you're behind. You need to make that an initiative in 2025. So I'm going to say that again. If you don't know how AI is disrupting your industry, you're behind. You need to know that, especially if you're in a leadership role. If you don't currently use AI in some way, you're behind. I am in it every single day. I don't like every single aspect of it, but it's here. It's here. So I'm using it to augment my work in combination with the human element, which I don't think will ever go away and is so valuable. But I think that there is an opportunity for a partnership there. So I'm learning it myself. I'm teaching my clients to use it, and I want to encourage you to use it, especially if you're an older job seeker, because that's who I work with. And we have to combat that stereotype of being outdated with technology, that type of thing. So that is one way that you can sharpen your skills. All right. It's affecting my industry. AI has come in for resume writing for sure. And coaching as well. So I'm finding ways to have it augment my work, not replace it, but just augment it. Okay. All right. And so I will say one other thing I did want to say with that too is, with AI and automation becoming more prevalent, I do think there actually is a growing demand for skills that machines cannot replicate. What are those? Judgment, problem solving, critical thinking, maybe even negotiation, right? Building relationships. I don't ever want to scare people, because I think that there are key soft skills and emotional intelligence that I don't think AI is ever going to have. And that's just my opinion. Um, I want you to work on those. I want you to, one, know AI, but I also want you to balance that out with leaning into your soft skills and relationships, communication, problem solving. Those are still the superpowers of a human, right? Those are the things that we still build, and they're still very valuable. In fact, I'm going to do a whole show on this later. There's a lot of talk about skills-based hiring and another phrase called the relationship economy. All right, Google that, the relationship economy. More on that. We're not going to get really into that in this show, but there's good news in there, so we'll talk more about that. But with the new administration that is taking over now, I think that as with any administration, there's going to be ups and downs, right? Nobody knows exactly what the future holds. But if we stay within our power and stay positive and focus on what we can control, it is all going to be okay. All right? Regardless of who you voted for, it's going to be okay. We are moving forward and focusing on what we can control. So let's talk about what's happening for you as a job seeker and what are some things that you need to be doing here and how you can be prepared for a career change or a job search. At a high level, there are 3 things that I want you to know. One of them, which I just started to get into. Number 1, focus on soft skills. Things like critical thinking, problem solving. These skills are top of mind for employers, all right? There's a lot of complexity in the corporate world right now. There's something like 6 generations, something like that, working together. And then you've got AI coming in and disrupting things. You've got global conflicts. It is a complex world we are in. We need critical thinking. We need problem solving. We need creativity. We need originality, resilience, adaptability, and flexibility. We need these soft skills. Soft skills are in demand. Soft skills are also oftentimes lumped in with executive presence. They're somewhat synonymous, those 2 things. So I want you to be thinking about your presence. How are you showing up? How are you communicating? That is where your differentiation comes in a job search. You differentiate yourself from other people who have the same skill set with your soft skills. All right. So this is a huge, huge area of power, and it's something that we coach on in Career Pricing as well. Number 2, I want you to embrace continuous learning. That includes AI and everything else. Active learning, no matter what stage of your career you are in, is important. But particularly for that late career professional, you have to have up-to-date skills in technology and just broadly speaking. Showing that you've done recent professional development can help combat ageism. That's very, very important. Show your employer that you have up-to-date skills. You're still planning on working for a while. You can learn new things. You're not set in your ways. And you are on top of trends that are relevant in your industry. That is so important, okay? So upskill, upskill, upskill. One thing that we do in coaching, particularly if somebody's changing careers, is we do a little skill gap analysis. So I have clients look at the job postings that they're interested in, and then we talk about their skills and look at their resume and look at where the gap is and come up with a plan for how we're going to close that gap, because that's necessary in order to be marketable, especially when you're going into a new field. So continuous learning is very, very important. I mean, I was talking in the previous episode about e-learning and how I've partnered with an e-learning company. That field is growing incredibly fast. It's a $300 billion industry, is e-learning. Holy cow, you guys, that is not a small number, okay? So you get in on that. All right. And number 3 is adapt. You're going to need to adapt to a lot of things. A new work model. The whole remote work, hybrid work thing is still kind of ugly. But there has been a big return to office shift, and a lot of people are having to adapt to going back into the office. And I'm not necessarily taking a stand on that one way or another. It's a complicated issue. I'm a fan of remote work, but it's not for every person and it's not for every company. So it's not a one size fits all. But if you are adaptable enough in your life, in your situation, that you can go on site, that might improve your job prospects. It really might, because that's where the majority of the positions are, and that's what employers want right now. So keep that in mind. You know, there's downsides to going on site, but there's also less competition for those jobs and maybe even higher pay as well. So there's always pros and cons, you guys. So where can you be more adaptable? Or does it mean that you need to relocate? Or do you need to go on site? Or what is it that you need to adapt? Do you need to adapt your communication style? Do you need to adapt by embracing continuous learning, as I just said, and learning new skills? This world is so complicated, and thinking through all the ways that you can be adaptable is one of the best ways to offer yourself more job security, okay? Is by being adaptable to different environments and staying on top of what is happening and what is changing, okay? All right, there's your nugget for today, you guys. Things are going to be okay. We don't always have to know exactly what the future holds to know that we're going to be okay. It's a new year, and there's a lot you can do to make yourself more resilient, more marketable, more adaptable, and more hireable by focusing on those soft skills, but also closing the skill gap and focusing on AI and where you can learn it and where you can use it in yourself, your job search, and your career. All right? More to come, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please find the archive at careeruprising.com/podcast. Reach out for a call with me. I'd love to connect with you. A couple other things you can do, or ways you can find me as well, include my Get Hired Over 40 newsletter on LinkedIn. That is completely free and has different content than what you see or hear in this podcast. So definitely go to LinkedIn, hit follow on my profile, and subscribe also to Get Hired Over 40, my newsletter. So love to you all. I hope you have a wonderful rest of January, and I will be back next week with another show, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Hey, it's Lorraine, and I want to say thanks for listening. If you found value in today's show, I would be honored to have your review on Apple Podcasts. It's the single best way to help this show be found by other listeners, and you'll earn some good karma. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to connect with you next time on Career Uprising.